at the halfway mark of the year comes box office grosses. So there's a couple of movies that came out that, Hollywood is all about the big $1 billion films. And I think so far The Little Mermaid's on their way to making that. I know it's a shocker for some. There's only one movie on this list that I got that grossed $1 billion so far. So we're gonna go down the list and I'm gonna give my opinions on the films. So coming in at number 10, this is basically, yes, top grossing films of 2023 so far. Let me move this down. Number 10, Evil Dead Rise. Now, I actually got to watch this movie maybe like 2 weeks ago. It was on I bought it off YouTube because I have a collection of films. Well, maybe you don't know, but I have a collection of films. If I like a movie and I want to see a movie, sometimes I'll buy it and I'll add it to my collection. The thing that pissed me off is when I bought the movie off YouTube, it was dubbed in multiple languages except the one I speak, which is fucking English. So I was mad. I'm like, where's the English version? Why is it giving me Czech and French and Spanish? Two different Spanishes. You got the European Spanish and then you got the I'm like, where is the original version? So I'm sitting there buying a thing and I'm like, you didn't tell me there was gonna be, so maybe it was a mistake on it. I'm gonna look at it again. But how do you get a refund on a digital download? Like, I don't know how that works. But anyway, so far that movie has grossed $144,550,801 at the box office. So that's a huge hit for a film that was a little small independent film. I actually enjoyed it. I thought it was a good movie. A lot of really good gory practical effects. That's what I love in my horror movies. I like, they go gore and they bring up the blood and all this stuff. It's got to be practical. I hate all that digital crap. I mean, if you want to use digital to enhance what we're looking at, then I'm pretty much here for that. Number 9, Scream 6 with 168,961,389 at the box office. And I have my issues with Scream 6. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I love the change of pace that it was in New York and this and the third. I did not particularly care for certain sequences. Like, I just thought like the third act was stupid. And that whole monologue of like, oh, you doing? Basically, y'all just ripped off Scream 2 in a lot of situations. But overall, I thoroughly enjoyed watching the movie. There was a lot of really cool twists and turns. I like that it was just like intense and with the action. But when I've talked to Robert and I, because he's a big Scream fan, and he and I talk a lot. And he was basically saying like Radio Silence is pretty much kind of thumbing their nose at the legacy characters and trying to push more into the whole Gen Z thing. And it's like, you can't be disrespectful and just kind of like just make it all about the core four, which I absolutely like the addition to the show, but you don't need to disrespect Gail and Sydney and all these other characters to big up your team. I was hoping you was going to tune in because you're talking about the whole Little Mermaid situation. When I get to that, which actually made the list, which was actually the next one I was going to go to, I'm going to read your comments and I'm going to respond. So number 8 is The Little Mermaid, which so far has grossed $197,780,029 at the box office. Now, I've heard mixed reviews. One of them coming from Sailor Mermaid, who was like, it was cute or whatever, but it wasn't giving 100% of what he wanted out of it. Because I know you were very critical of a lot of the songs. First of all, you had Lin-Manuel Miranda doing a lot of the music. And love the fact that Lin is where he is in the industry and he came up from In the Heights and the other stuff that he did. And I actually enjoyed In the Heights when I saw it. When Steven Spielberg directed, did Steven Spielberg direct that? Because didn't he also did he direct that and he directed West Side Story? Anyway, I'll look it up. But if he did, let me know in the comments. I liked In the Heights. I thought it was a little too long. Some of the songs went on a little long. I'm like, child, you don't know an edit button when it comes to writing lyrics. Like, not everybody's a rapper either. And I know there were some of the songs in the movie were a choice. I haven't seen it. Me personally, I'm not going to no theater to watch a movie for kids in a room full of children because you're not going to look at me like my name is Graylin Purnell. I'm not sitting in a room for the children watching as an adult watching the movie. But anyway, so Sailor Mermaid says, so I watched The Little Mermaid, and honestly, it's a mixed bag. Despite the critics, I mean, the criticisms I believe you're trying to say I have with it, it's not a bad film. Halle carried the film, and Melissa did a pretty good job. I feel like if it wasn't for Halle, it wouldn't get as far as much because of the unnecessary changes they made, and this as well as the CGI. And you say it's not the worst thing, but definitely had problems. OMG, the song Scuttle was a crime against musical humanity. Yeah, I've heard a lot of people say Scuttlebust's a trashy ass song. Um, but yeah, I've heard a lot of great things about Halle Bailey. I almost called her Halle Berry. Child, why your mother do that to you? Um, Haley Bailey. I actually called her Chloe intentionally on my post. I was like Chloe. They was like, "Ooh, you messy for that." So, same shit, different toilet. But anyway, I heard that Halle Bailey does a phenomenal job in the film. I heard Melissa McCarthy was good. I know a lot of people complain over the fact that her makeup was terrible, in the words of Alaska from Drag Race. Her makeup was terrible. Oh wait, not even her. Didn't Crystal LaBeija use that line too in the documentary that she was in? I think it was called The Queen. Your makeup is terrible. Yes, Harlow. Your makeup is bad. But anyway, let me stop. Well, look, happy Pride, bitch. So I'm gonna be quoting gay shit this whole month. Well, I do it anyway. I do it throughout the year. But because we in Pride, and I should have mentioned that happy Pride, y'all. um, you know, I'm probably gonna be doing a lot of quotes. Paris is burning, all that other stuff. But anyway, so yeah, I heard that it was a mixed bag, that some of the CGI wasn't really working, but that's kind of like Hollywood now. They rely so much on CGI, and a lot of it comes by the time it hits theaters, it's unfinished. That you can still see a lot of the mistakes, and it it looks a little rough. And that's because a lot of these special effects people get overworked. There's so much CGI in movies now. I mean, they needed a whole year to work on the Flash special effects, which word on the curb is that Andy Muschietti said he is not getting rid of Ezra Miller. So I don't know if y'all still gonna support this movie or whatever the case is, but if y'all feeling the ways about Ezra Miller and what they did to a lot of people, um, Andy Muschietti said he going if the movie's successful and there's a sequel, um, Ezra gonna be the Flash. But all I know is this: if y'all keep him and Disney gets rid, I mean them, and Disney gets rid of Jonathan Majors, bitch, I'm boycotting. That's all I'm gonna say. But anyway, so yeah, I haven't seen Little Mermaid. I'll wait until it comes on Disney Plus. I'll check it out, and then I'll give my formal opinion. But to me, I'm not really big into whole cartoons and live animation and live versions of live action remakes of animated films. I'm not a big fan of it. The last live action animated film that I've seen was Cinderella, and that's because at the time I worked at AMC. I need to kill time, so I went into IMAX and I watched the movie. And I was like, it's all right. I mean, I actually liked it and I enjoyed it. I was like, it's all right. But since then, I'm not really big on the whole the regification. I know a lot of people get irritated by the fact that they do these live action remakes, but look, they make a shit ton of money, and as long as y'all make money, Disney is gonna keep making them. So it is what it is. Now, number 7 is Dungeons and Dragons with $208,139,507. I have not seen Dungeons and Dragons, even though it has been sitting on my Paramount Plus. I believe is showing it. It's been sitting on the thing as one of my recommendations of things to watch. I have not gotten around it. I just moved. There's a whole lot of stuff going on. So I'm still trying to work out kinks and figure things out and get up on time and do all these other things. I haven't had the time to really sit and watch things. But I've not seen Dungeons and Dragons. I've heard good things about it from everybody who I know liked it. Except I believe DJ hated it, if I'm not mistaken. I believe we had this conversation. He didn't like it. Oh yeah, he said it was boring. Thank you. I from what I heard, some people said they love Michelle Rodriguez, but I love Michelle Rodriguez in anything. Like I've always been a fan of Michelle Rodriguez's, her debut movie, Girl Fight, and Say what you want, but I loved her in Fast X, and we about to get to that in a second too. Number six, Creed 3 with 274,448,615. Now I've not seen Creed 3 yet either. Um I'm waiting until it actually shows up on one of the streaming services. I know you can pre-order it, pre-rent it, pre all the other stuff. I have not seen it yet. I will get around to it. Like I said, when it ends up on a streaming service. Here's the thing. I'm not gonna be rushing. I know there's a lot of movies that are coming out that I really want to go see, but like I want to see the new Spider-Man. Haven't gotten around to seeing that, but it's just so much going on. I don't have time to just be running to the movies every weekend to see a film. The last movie I saw was Fast X, so we're gonna get into that in a second. I gave my overall thoughts on my TikTok, but I'll rejudge for the show because it'll go into the topics that we have to discuss. Number five, John Wick Chapter 4 with 429,508,616. Now, I think this is the biggest grossing film out of the franchise. A lot of people were satisfied with this film. I was satisfied with this film. I don't think we need a part five, although it was just announced maybe a week ago. The Lionsgate is developing a John Wick 5. I don't know how they're going to develop it at this point because though I don't want to give it away if people haven't seen it yet. It is available for digital download. The minute it was available, I went and bought it on Amazon. I wasn't fucking with YouTube because I told y'all about what happened with me and the Evil Dead Rise. Bought that, it came in a whole nother damn language. So I'm sitting there watching it with the subtitles in English at the bottom and another language at the top. I changed it from Czech to Spanish just so that way, because I felt more comfortable watching in that language. But anyway, John Wick 4. I absolutely love this movie. Saw it 3 times in the movies. Don't judge me. It's a 3-hour film, but I watched it 3 times in the movies. Once by myself, once with my close friend Esteban. The third time I took my parents when I came out to visit them at their house. I was like, yeah, let's go. I took them to the movies, went out to eat, that whole shebang. Then when it ended up on digital download, I watched it 4 times. So I've seen it about 8-9 times. Yes, that's how much I love the damn movie. I've seen it so many times this year. The action is impeccable. Keanu Reeves definitely kicked ass in this film. I love seeing a lot of people who were in the film. They did a good job. I loved. No, he's not still fighting for his dead dog. He was actually fighting for his freedom because the high table was coming after him after he went. And the movie is always about actions to your consequences to your actions. So it's levels to it. From what people have always said is that the film goes through he goes through these different stages of grief. Oh, so you saw part 4? My ex-roommates watched it, and I know one of them was too stupid to comprehend and was like, didn't understand how John Wick was getting beat up by a fat dude. And I was like, you fucking idiot. First of all, the guy was in a fat suit. Number 2, that was Scott Adkins, who's like one of the most phenomenal action movie stars working right now. So it's entirely. This is why it's like, and you trying to be an actor, and you don't understand how movies work. You ain't gonna make it past being an extra, and that's no shade. Well, actually, it was shade. Let me not take that. Let me not say it's no shade. It is shade. And the one thing about having a show is I can read bitches, and they can't read me back. Anyway, so number 4. Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania with 476,021,896 at the box office. I'm going to just say I did not like Quantumania. I was absolutely bored watching it. I remember I was halfway through it. The tone was all over the place. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me. Oh my God. What is that? How did I just draw a damn blank? What is the actor's name that plays Ant-Man? Production's like, you shady bitch. Not Scott Lang is not his name. Paul Rudd. How the fuck I forget Paul Rudd's name? I love me some Paul Rudd. Like, I have a big crush on him. I think I've told y'all that before. Thank you. How the hell? Look, it's late in the East Coast. Sometimes I forget. I have brain farts. But anyway, I love me some Paul Rudd. That man does not age. He's fine as hell. I want him to sit on my face. I have said this many a times. Y'all know this by now. For those who follow me on Facebook, which is where I spread all my dirt, and I'm the messiest. So y'all should definitely follow me over there. Don't be like no ill. Paul Rudd is cute. But anyway, I go off energy. I have my taste level on men's is all over the charts. But anyway, so I love Paul Rudd. I did not like this film. The special effects was a little hokey for me. Jonathan Majors, I thought, did a good enough job as Kang, but he started to annoy me at parts. Like, I felt like you were giving me theater school acting. Like he was doing Shakespeare or some shit. It's like, okay, this is not, we don't need Shakespeare in a Marvel movie, even though sometimes I'll be trying to act like y'all reciting Shakespeare, which monologues and your gravitas and all that other stuff that y'all be doing. But who did? Wait, Paul Rudd filmed near your job because they're still shooting Ghostbusters. I forgot about that. Oh yeah, well they have to shoot in New York. So oh, you shot by your job. That's cool. Um yeah, so I didn't particularly care for Ant-Man Quantumania. I had it on as background noise. I was pretty much in my phone the entire time. I did glance up every now and again to catch some scenes, but it wasn't necessary. I just felt like all of Phase 4 just was a complete disappointment for me, so I didn't really care for it. Number 3, Fast X with 520,200,727 at the box office. Now um that's not bad considering that they paid that the budget for the movie is almost $100 million. So they need to make a little more to break even. Like, y'all need to get over that $700 million hump. I think they will do that overseas. However, I don't think it'll happen in the United States because I really feel like at this point, American audiences are kind of over the Fast and Furious films. I don't think they really are that excited for this movie because it didn't really make that much opening weekend. I think it grossed like 60 something $million. I probably have the facts when I get to the story about regarding Fast and the Furious. But he's talking about stretching this out to 2 more movies. I was like, wrap it up after the next one, please. Let's not stretch it to another damn movie. We don't need 2 more. We really don't. We don't need a Fast X trilogy. We really don't. I know y'all trying to stretch this out as long as you can, but if the money is not being met, but I guess at this point, does American audience box office really matter anymore? Because y'all really look to overseas to make that coin. Not for part 4. Part 5 was the best one. That's the Citizen Kane of the franchise, in my opinion. Fast 5 is when it took off. Watch Fast 5. Don't stop at 4. The 5th one was like when Dwayne Johnson came in. And we got Reyes, which is actually where Jason Momoa's character comes in because his father was the one who was in the 5th one, the villain in the 5th one. But anyway, so number 2 is Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 with 743,859,666 at the box office. I've not seen Guardians of the Galaxy 3. I'm glad I've been able to avoid spoilers. Thank the Lord. I don't know anything that happened in this one. I don't know if people died. I don't know if people cried. Well, I do know if people cried. Because I did see some people on my social media was talking about when I saw like they went to go see it. They were like, they cried watching it. Speaking of which, it's the same thing with Little Mermaid. A lot of the people that I know went to go see it was someone that they were in tears watching it. And that they cried and they loved the movie. So critics be damned, and all the racism shit that was coming on with that too. And I'm definitely gonna wait for Disney Plus to see that one as well. I do want to see the final film because I've seen all the other ones, including the Christmas special. So, and the number 1, Super Mario Brothers with 1,282,995,700, and the last number cut off. So I don't know what it is, but overall, Super Mario Brothers, the only movie so far this year that has grossed over $1 billion at the box office. I've heard good things about Super Mario Brothers. I played the game growing up as a kid. I'm not particularly a Chris Pratt fan, but it is interesting how 2 movies that he's starring in, one has grossed $1 billion and the other one is close to $1 billion. So The people like him, I guess. Or maybe it's because he's a part of an ensemble. So, congratulations to all of y'all.